Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's an inconvenience airline passengers have lived with for years now. That ban on carrying any liquids except in tiny bottles onto an airplane. Tonight there's word the ban could finally be lifted. It was put in place after a failed terrorist plot to blow up planes using chemicals carried in sports bottles. Now, thanks to new technology, bigger bottles could be allowed back on board. Mike Drolet has the story.
The rules are there for all to see, yet there's always someone at the gate who forgets what they can and can't pack.
For me, it's always mouthwash. Then when I go through checkout, they make me throw it away.
Does it annoy you every time?
Every time.
Well, those rules could be changing. A UN agency that oversees aviation safety has released a report detailing how new screening machines could be rolled out to Canadian airports in 2014, with an eye to lifting restrictions by 2016.
These are baby steps. These are just using the technology to deal with specific items, and we hope that the rest of the world adopts the practices that we are.
The restrictions were put into place after a failed 2006 terror plot to blow up transatlantic flights using liquid explosives. The plot was hatched in England and targeted flights that included Toronto and Montreal.
We then place it on the first sensor.
Now, the restrictions were never meant to be permanent, merely a stopgap until technology improved. There are several machines that have been on the market for a few years which use laser or sonic wave technology to distinguish between hazardous and innocuous liquids. They're currently being tested in the EU, but are still not being trusted on their own.
The point would be, I think, is the combination of human intelligence and smarts and expertise and technology. So technology should not replace but complement the well-trained human screeners.
CATSA, the agency in charge of airport security, couldn't tell Global News when Canadian travelers would see change. They still have to see if the equipment works for them and if one extra step to go along with all the others wouldn't have the adverse effect of slowing everything down even more. This man says if there's a lot of people in line, it might not be practical. So why change? Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.